Okay, good evening, everyone. Calling together the planning board meeting for August 6th, 2024. First, we'll start off with a roll call. James Sweeney,
Here.
Matthew Payne.
Here.
Did I say that right?
It's Gallagher. I gotta change it.
Okay, okay. Yolanda Spinola,
Here.
Marty Crowell,
Here.
and Tony is present. So we have a little bit of an agenda tonight. Just to go through it quickly, we're going to review definitive subdivision for Field Street. We'll have to take a vote. They've asked for a continuance. We have a request for an extension, 678 East Street. We have an amendment for Petronelli Way. We have a return to ZBA 157 Center Street. Preliminary subdivision, Braymore Road. And a site plan review for 63 Arlington Street. First, start off with the motion to accept, let's see, we're going back to June and May's, no, June and July's minutes, meeting minutes.
Motion to accept June and July minutes.
Second.
All right. Roll call, James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Tony, yes. Okay. I guess we'll start off with a definitive subdivision that's asking for a continuance. I need a motion.
Motion to continue.
Second.
Okay, roll call, James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Tony, yes. So if anyone from the public is here for Field Street, that has been continued to the September meeting. Is that correct, Evan? September,
Yes, September 5th, it's a Thursday.
okay. Good reminder, for the board, the meeting for September is on Thursday. Because of voting. All right, is the applicant here for 678 East Street? Request for extension,
I am moving Mr.
Rosberg,
Ford
Scott.
and McLean over.
Hi, everyone. Yes, Scott Ford here on behalf of the applicant for 678 East Street.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Ford, the floor is yours.
Okay, yeah, so if the board isn't familiar with this is a subdivision on East Street consisting of 2 Brockton house lots and 7, I believe, East Bridgewater house lots. Been back and forth in land court. We were before the planning board in Brockton in 2020 for approval of their portion of the subdivision, your portion of the subdivision. And then we went to East Bridgewater for approval of their portion of the subdivision. When it was in land court originally, by agreement of both the city of Brockton and the applicant, it was a judgment of remand was entered. And one of those conditions was that there would be a intermunicipal water agreement considered. So we went through the portion of Brockton's approval and subsequently East Bridgewater's approval, have both approvals. And we, the applicant, has been seeking dialogue with the city of Brockton for an intermunicipal water agreement for the past, say, year and a half, thereabouts. The city of Brockton has, as of yet, just essentially ignored us. I mean, I hate to be that blunt, but that's what's happened. I've sent multiple requests to the city solicitor, got the mayor involved. We've reached out to various department heads. No one will even sit down at the table. So the intermunicipal water agreement is needed to move forward with the project. And as of yet, we've been unable to get that. We believe the city has an obligation to discuss this with us. We believe that under state law, as a member of the watershed district, they have an obligation to come to the table, and we haven't yet. So we're requesting an extension to give us time to continue to pursue that, which at this stage may include some litigation to get the city to respond to some requests. But that is the Status as of yet, the extension is, I can state with absolute certainty, the fault of the city of Brockton for not coming to the table and acknowledging and treating with us. The applicant's done everything possible, met every request from the city, and then subsequently every request from the town of East Bridgewater. Spent tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars on plans, re-engineering plans, making accommodations to both municipalities, acted in the utmost good faith, and the city has not
Okay.
responded. I don't know if the board members have looked at the package that we submitted, but there's a substantial amount of supporting documentation setting forth these efforts. I'm not asking for the board to take my word for it. It's all there in black and white in the supporting document.
I think we've heard your struggle and can sympathize. Mr. May or Mr. Foy, who have you been contacting? Maybe Rob May knows of a better contact?
Oh, no, he does not.
No?
Well, Mr.
He
May, so
is-
we've reached out to,
He has been in contact with all the proper parties.
yeah,
And have you reached out to the mayor?
well, I believe in conversations, yes, but Councilor Castro wrote a letter to the East Bridgewater Planning Board saying she and the mayor are in lockstep that they don't want to entertain the intermunicipal water agreement, which I think the city has to do because they're a party to litigation that, as an agreed upon joint condition, required one. So to
Okay.
then refuse to even take a meeting to discuss the possibility of it is somewhat problematic from a good faith standpoint.
Okay. Questions from other board members? Is this open for public?
No,
No, okay. All right, is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve the extension?
Yeah, I make that motion to approve the extension.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second.
Okay. All right, roll call. James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Tony, yes. All right, good luck, Mr. Ford.
Thank you very much, members of the planning board. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Next up, Petronelli Way. Amendment. JK Holmgren Engineering, is that Scott?
and Evan, something has happened to my computer, and I'm gonna give you host, and I'm gonna go out and come back in because I can't move anybody around on the table.
Hey, Scott,
Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, board members. Scott Farrier, Holmgren Engineering, representing Joe Gonzalez in New Vision Enterprises on his project on Petronelli Way. You folks granted us site plan approval back in January of 23 for a 50-unit, 6-story building. And in the last 16 months, 18 months, Joe has determined that that 6th floor that would have given him those 50 units is just financially not feasible. He's looking to amend his plan down to 50 units down to 46 units by lopping off that top 6th floor. Everything else is exactly the same, Madam Chair. Same building footprint, same parking, same utilities. It's just 4 less units. So we're just asking for a modification to your site plan approval. We already went to the ZBA back a couple of months ago to get them with up to date with these revised plans. So we're just looking to kind of keep everything in line with you folks, so you'll have the up to date plans.
okay, got it. Thank you, Scott. Pretty clear. Questions from the board?
Oh.
All right, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, roll call. James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Tony, yes. All right,
Thank you,
thanks-
folks.
Thanks, Scott. See you, I guess, at number 4.
In 2 minutes.
Okay, all right. Next, return to ZBA 157 Center Street. WR Construction Design, Inc.
So if you are with this case, go ahead and raise your hand and we will move you over. Imagine it would be WR Construction, should be. I'm gonna move them over.
And Evan, you know what? Isaiah, you're listed as me.
Okay,
Um,
how do I give that back to you?
Change your name, right click.
Oh, that's me. Oh, okay. I was wondering where am I?
Maybe that will give me control.
Why can't I?
Because I can't move anybody at the moment. And I can't even give Evan the host duties so that I could turn off and turn back on again. Okay.
The how do I?
All right. I fixed mine. You can be me. Go ahead. Okay. I'll rename you. I'll work on it.
I see WR Construction here. Who do we have the pleasure?
Hi, this is Carrie Jordan for WR Construction, 157 Center Street. We're looking to grant approval to go back in front of ZBA. We've changed our plans, updated them to allow storage in the basement, parking, and bike storage and things of that nature that they were looking for when we were denied.
So you changed the parking. What did you change?
So we updated the parking. We now have the official approval from the BAT that they'll provide us the additional parking spaces.
Okay.
I did not have that when I went back in front of zoning. We did not have that official concrete.
All right. Questions from the board? Okay, is this open to public?
Madam Chair, I do have a question.
Sure.
So could you just again highlight the changes that you made from the previous?
So we now officially have in our plan that I submitted was the BAT has agreed to give us the parking. In addition to that, we did update the plan. If on the drawings that we have for Center Street, you'll see that we have the bike. One of the concerns that we had at the time was that storage, if people might be storage things in their apartments, and where were they going to store these things, and fire safety. So we put them bike storage outside, as well as created individual, every unit will have in the basement, you'll see in the plans that we submitted, storage units for each individual apartment.
Okay, and anything else outside of storage? I'm just double checking here. Is it all just storage?
On the left-hand side is where the storage will be, if you look at that
Okay.
plan there. What we're looking for the ZBA is to grant us 4 additional apartments in the basement.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
And the reason for that is that to make the numbers work, they need the cash flow.
Any other questions from board members? If not, is this open to?
Yes, ma'am, it is. So if anybody would like to speak in favor or oppose, and then I have one person with their hand up, and that's Jed. So please go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. So, Jed Resco, I'm at this point the president of the trustees at The Neighbor at 147 Center Street. Myself and 2 other trustees, as some of you know, spoke at the ZBA meeting in support of 157's additional 4 units. So we're, of course, still in support of seeing the project move forward and working. I do want to comment that we're concerned about the drain and the continued flooding, and our understanding is that it's flooding both our properties, their property and our property. And we've come to understand that it's ultimately the fault of their engineer. So 157, so to the backup, the site plan that this board approved included a drain that filters into the ground and unfortunately filters on top of bedrock. So it's flooding both of our basements. And there was some kind of according to the city engineer, according to Chike, there was some miscommunication between him and the planning department. He claims that he never would have approved such a plan since it's just putting water right back into our basements, basically. And he says, whereas the planning department, of course, talked to Rob, says that's not the case. He, in fact, did speak with them. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter whose fault it was between planning and the city engineer. It's ultimately the private engineer's responsibility to have checked these things out and to have given their client, in this case 157, a proper plan. So the city engineer will sign off on connecting that drain into the stormwater pipe that's in Center Street. It's a 26-inch pipe. So we just need to know how's it going to happen, basically.
And when? And when?
And when? Yes. And I mean, I think ultimately this probably comes out of the errors and omissions insurance of 157's engineer. Again, it wasn't their fault. They did what they were told to do, but they were given bad information by their engineer. And we're both suffering as a result. We got flooding in this last storm, as an example. Thank you.
So, Carrie,
Yes.
what is the plan for connecting these pipes and drainage pipes
So-
and when?
This is the first, as far as what Jed is speaking about connection into pipes. This is the first that we've actually heard of this. We haven't heard anything from Jed. We did go out and take a look at their site. I've kind of noted, and I don't want to get into like their drainage and being bad, but they aren't connected. If you go out and look at their site, your sidewalks in Brockton are now eroding because they are draining straight into your sidewalks versus in tying into their system for the filtration. They're actually dumping their water from next into our filtration, into our Caltech system. So what they have as far as pictures and going out to their site and taking a look at it, as far as what we have is, as far as documentation, pictures, we had our excavation company that installed it, all of that come out, take a look at the site when Jed actually brought it to our attention. They have past water issues that have been going on in their building prior to us coming. We don't currently, to the best of my knowledge, have any water that's going into our building. If Jed has information pertaining to our building that I'm not familiar with, which I would be surprised with, I don't know anything about what Jed's providing as far as my building. But as far as my building, to the best of my knowledge, we have not had any water coming into the building. And the pictures that I have, and from the day that I was there, as well as all of their water is coming from the front from their drainage system, which if you go out and actually look, they're supposed to be tied in. And what they did instead, when I brought it to their attention, was divert the water. They connected diverter systems into their systems to actually divide it right out into your sidewalks, so instead of into their system that they already had.
So this is a new one for me, Mr. May. If this gets approved to return to ZBA, who addresses, or do we make it a condition that the drainage or the flooding issues are
I
resolved?
would think that we need to have the city engineer go out and meet with both parties at the same time to discuss this. But your approval or rejection of their application is not going to solve the stormwater problem.
That makes sense. So if you could, follow through with that, Carrie, with the city engineer and the other owner or party.
Sure. I will reach out to Chike.
Okay.
Thank you.
Questions from other public attendees?
Jed, you still have your hand up. Is there something else?
I disagree with the Carrie's characterization, but again, I think both of us meeting with Chike will clarify and clear up the problem. As it is, Chike came out on the site, spoke to their engineer over the phone. He was supposed to prepare a plan. And so I guess he just let it sit with him and hasn't brought it to his client's attention. Again, we're not saying it was their fault. They did what they were told to do by their engineer and by the city. But and then so yeah, I think a meeting, we're in support of a meeting. That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Jed. Any other attendees?
No one else has their hand up at this time, Madam Chair. Please proceed.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call. James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Tony, yes. All right, thank you, Carrie. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Scott up
Scott's
for
back.
Braymore Road preliminary subdivision.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening again. Scott Farrier, Holmgren Engineering, representing Chilton Realty Trust. What we have before you is a 13-lot subdivision, Madam Chair. I can share my screen, Rob?
Yes, please.
All right. Nobody's gasping, so I'm not sure if you can all see it.
We can see
Well,
it.
we can all see. We think it's a work of art.
All right, thank you. Hoping for a little more appreciation of me getting that on screen finally after 4
Yeah,
years
yeah,
of
we
zooming,
have-
but
Good
anyway,
job, Scott.
thank you.
Scott, good job.
Thank you very much. So again, we have a 13-lot proposed residential subdivision. It's a preliminary plan, an extension of Braymore Road, surrounded by a whole bunch of newer subdivisions. Briarcliff, not so new, but above us, Cypress Drive and alongside Lodi Lane, that's been under construction for a year or so. So we're hoping to extend Braymore Road, create 13 lots. We need preliminary approval from the board to go to the ZBA. We have some lots, actually, all of the lots do not have the adequate frontage. They all have probably average about 140 to 150 feet of frontage. And most of the lots do have the 30,000 square feet required. We're just hoping that the ZBA will give us a variance on the frontage required of 175 feet. If that goes smoothly, Attorney Burke would be filing the ZBA application. That would get heard hopefully in September. Then we'd be back before you folks sometime in the fall or the winter with a definitive subdivision plan, where we can get more into the meats and bones of the whole plan, the drainage, everything else. So for now, we're just showing you our proposed layout of houses. The houses would be kind of your typical house that you see being built in the surrounding subdivisions, a 4-bedroom colonial with an attached 2-car garage. Setback, it would meet all the zoning setbacks. Again, it would just, most of the lots just need that frontage variance, Madam Chair and board members. So that's what we're hoping to achieve tonight with you folks.
All right, thanks, Scott. I don't have any questions. Do other board members?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I do. Scott, could you just help me orient myself here? Are you talking about connecting Braymore Road to Chilton? Is that why it's called Chilton Realty?
No, it's owned by Chilton Realty Trust, but we would be extending what's currently the dead end portion of Braymore Road.
So it'll come out to Pleasant Street, you mean?
Nope, it's heading away from Pleasant Street, and it would just end at a cul-de-sac.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what scared me. Okay.
Yep, so it would just
So-
end, yeah, it wouldn't be a throughway at all. Yeah, I understand your question. It would not be a throughway. It does not connect to any of the surrounding subdivisions.
So
as a travel way.
you're just gonna add 13 homes to the end of Braymore Road.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So then, Scott, what is the length of that road? We're gonna run into that issue again.
It is
Um,
about an 800-foot road, Madam Chair, an 800-foot extension of Briarcliff. I'm sorry, of Braymore. We do have the ability to loop the water main, so we're hoping that makes our life a little bit easier, both during the definitive process with you folks and during the ZBA process. So we would have a looped water main, so we don't feel as though there's a fire protection issue.
Okay, is Chief Williams on? Oh, yes, there you are. Anything, any input on this?
No, so how long would the road be from Rogers Road up to the dead end, Scott?
We're 800. I would guess probably close to 1,200, maybe 1,100. Deputy
Okay.
Chief. Yeah, there's 3 lots at the end of Braymore after Rogers. So I guess I'm looking at the assessors map. I would guess it's probably another 250 feet. So it'd be somewhere around an 1,100-foot total dead end road there.
Which is 400 or 500 longer than so you'd be looking for an exemption to the 700-foot rule, correct?
We would request that waiver at the time of the definitive, yes.
And I would advocate for, just as in the other 2 subdivisions, sprinkled buildings, because of the length of the road.
Okay.
I think we're expecting that, Deputy Chief.
Okay, glad to hear that. The other question I have is how close are we to the Algonquin? Where's the Algonquin run up here? Does it run
Yeah,
on the property?
Yeah, it runs pretty much right at the beginning of our property. So we've been in contact with them. It's really probably the biggest part of our definitive plans will be sitting down with them and making sure we're satisfying whatever regulations they have as far as construction over those pipes. So we have had preliminary discussions. They know that we're looking at doing this, and if we get past tonight, have positive results at the ZBA, then we'll dive full steam into that, Deputy Chief.
Okay.
For those of you who are playing at home, the Algonquin is a high-pressure gas line that provides the whole southeast region of Massachusetts.
It may be helpful, Scott, just to outline it on the plan so everybody's aware of it when you go before the ZBA.
I certainly will. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all, madam. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Madam Chair, I have one more question if I could.
Absolutely.
Scott, do the neighbors that are currently live in that area, Roger Road and Braymore, know about this?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. For the preliminary meeting, for our preliminary hearing with you folks, it's a butter notification is not required. It's just a public
Right.
meeting. Certainly at the ZBA, there'll be a butter notification, and I would assume they know something's going on. I would assume that they've talked to the owners at some point, but I wouldn't want to guarantee that.
All right, because there's been talk for years and years and years about continuing that road, and
Sure.
so I my guess is that there wouldn't be a huge problem because it's not going to break through to Pleasant. But my experience with neighbors, it can be tough. So I just wondered. That's all.
Thank you.
Just curious. Thank you, Scott.
All right, thank you, Marty. Other questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I have one more. Scott, this project's been here quite a while. Was there ever talk of an access with a key, or was that the development farther up as far as the fire department getting in? Was that to the
that was the other
okay, all right.
development.
Okay.
Right.
All
I
right,
think
yeah,
that was
There's a
Cypress,
gate.
Mr. Sweeney.
okay, all right. They're almost identical, so all right,
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly. They really are.
Thanks.
Okay, is this open for the public?
Yes, the public may comment if they wish to do so. So if anybody would like to have a say, please use the raise your hand icon that is located at the bottom of your screen. If you have a hover over the bottom of your screen, you should have a menu pop up with a big hand. So at this time, Madam Chair, I do not have anyone who would like to speak.
Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to approve with standard conditions.
Second.
All right, roll call. James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
and Tony, yes. All right, thank you, Scott.
Thank you, folks. Have a good evening. Appreciate it.
No
Thank
problem.
you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay. Now we have 63 Arlington Street Site Plan Review, ET Engineering.
And who is representing them?
Should be a zoo. I
Okay,
gave him the option to come over.
I'm promoting him to panelist also. Here he comes.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, sir.
Good evening. Rob, how's my favorite CED director and planner of Massachusetts?
Oh, just remember, I don't have a vote here, so no kissing
No,
up.
you don't. But you and Evan have made life easy for me a lot of times. So, Madam Chair, I recommend them
Well,
for
thank you.
special. I recommend them for special commendation.
Okay.
So, am I able to share my file?
You should be. You are
Okay.
unlocked, sir.
Okay. Let's see. Entrance windows. Okay. Print tab. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Ha!
Here it comes.
Are you
Yes,
seeing it?
sir. It's
Oh,
coming.
wow.
There it is.
This is the first time, Rob, ever.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. That's because I've been hanging around you too. So that's awesome. Thank you. You guys have rubbed off, see?
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, Madam Chair and members of the committee of the board, what we have is an existing site. If I, this is the property at number 41 through now 63 Arlington Street. If you would recall, last year the board was were kind to review and approve a project starting from here down to right here. Okay. And since then, Mr. Torrey, Steve Torrey, who's not able to be here, he had just called me and saying, was the meeting canceled? I said, no, it's still on. He says, well, the city hall is all locked up. I said, it's a Zoom meeting. So he was totally distraught. Yeah, so that's why he's not on. He probably will join if he makes it home quick enough. But what we have here is an additional area that they have acquired. So this is all the existing conditions. These two are under construction presently. And then what we have next sheet up, I will color up, is this right here. So this is a site layout of the project. These here, this one here, this here, and these two are all under construction. And so we have kind of shown the layout to demonstrate that we can still have, as we did before, a fire apparatus to be able to come through. And then if I scroll down a little bit, so we also showed with our template that a fire apparatus about the ladder can never make it through here. So it's a one-way entrance and a one-way exit. And we have parking. We have ample parking that complies with your zoning requirements. We have a screened dumpster right in this area here. We have an existing dumpster pad location that is over here, so that we will have an ample waste of solid waste collection and disposal. The parking meets the parking requirements. It's on time, city sewer, city water. And we have expanded the drainage system to incorporate the roof runoff that will come from these two new buildings here. Each will be a 5-unit structure, this one and this one here. And it's consistent with what the board reviewed before when when the project started on this end right here and terminated at this end right here. So the acquisition of this parcel here makes the project more complete. And Mr. Torrey does excellent work in the city. He's got a great track record of doing reputable work. We have also included a stormwater construction period management of so this year is our drainage system design. Drainage system design. There's some landscaping. All this area that's in green are the areas that will be landscaped, and we meet the minimum requirements. The lighting plan is consistent with what the board approved before. These are all going to be building mounted lights that are shown right here in red. And we will include the project during construction, utilizing calcium chloride and water to tamp down the dust so that you don't have much of any dust coming out of the project. And these two building plans are consistent, and that's basically what Mr. Torrey will be building. This is typical of the projects that he does. So we had our tech review meeting, and we incorporated some of the comments that were made during the tech review to make the project a more wholesome project. And with that, Madam Chair, I will yield and answer any questions that I am capable of answering.
Okay, thank you, Azu. I do see that it's gone through tech review and all concerns were addressed. There's just, you didn't speak to the parking lot concern so that there's not dysfunction with traffic flow.
Okay, so Madam Chair, let me go to this view that right here, if either plan can show it, but if you look at parking, the parking, these are all the parking spots right here, and along with these right here, and then the dumpster, and then this here, and then all these right here. The aisle width.
Where is the new parking going? Where's the original and where's the new?
Okay, the original ended, Madam Chair, ended right here, where my cursor is. So it was all this area, these parking spots, up to this point right here, where the previous project ended. So right here is the end of it. And then the new parking that we're adding are these right here. And there's plenty of aisle width that allows for vehicles to pass and a vehicle to back up without having to interrupt one another. And I've got a table here, Madam Chair, that right here. Let me zoom into it a little bit.
While you're zooming into that,
yeah.
so you understand that the new parking lot has to be done before the old one is removed.
Madam Chair, yes, I think it will only make sense that the project be functional, and so we are very cognizant of that, and we are willing to address that concern, and it makes more sense that the parking be established so that you don't have any issues spilling over into the public way. So,
Okay, perfect, thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Questions from other board members?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I have one. Hi, Azu. How are you?
Good evening, sir. I'm doing good. Good to see you.
Same. So is this basically the same construction as West Elm?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So I've been in that building. I knew it looked familiar on the plan, but I just wanted to ask you that. So
Yes, sir.
that's my only question.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks, James. Other questions? Is this open to public?
Yes, ma'am. So anybody in the public who wishes to address the board, please use the raise your hand icon at the bottom of your screen. If you raise your hand, we will unlock your microphone and allow you to address the board. And Madam Chair, I do not have anyone with their hand up for this project.
Madam
All right.
Chair,
Yes,
may I make a question? Ask a
of course
question?
you can.
It wouldn't let me put my hand up.
Oh.
Azul, which fire truck are you using? It looks kind of small.
Well, because you're looking at the scale of the drawing, but it's the one that I had gotten from the deputy fire chief, and that is a length of 60 feet.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
that works. 60 feet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just looked smaller on the plan. I wanted to make sure it was the right truck. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Also add a new parking layout must be completed before original parking layout is removed and construction on the new building begins.
Second.
Okay, roll call. James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Marty? You're on mute, Marty.
Yes.
Thank you. And Tony, yes. All right, thank you, Azu.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, members of the board, and thanks, Ed, and thanks, Rob, and thanks, Evan, and Isaiah. I don't see Isaiah. Thank you all. Yeah, you're a great city to work. I love you guys.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Have a
Take
good
care.
night.
Have a good night, Ashley.
Yeah, bye now.
All right. There is, but before we adjourn this meeting, Isaiah, will you be sending out the sign-in sheet this evening?
I will. Yes, I'll send it right after this meeting, after you guys walk off here.
All right, and I don't think you were on earlier, but James has been trying to get in to sign, but you missed each other with the closing.
I might be able to get in towards the end of the day. Do you guys leave at 4 tomorrow?
You know, you can just, how about email me, James, and we'll figure out a good time. Yeah,
All right.
I
that
can
works.
accommodate. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that works.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
James,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
Yolando,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Tony, 1 second. Rob, you see there's a question and answer. There's been no notification. I'm not sure what they were referencing.
Yes, I have no idea what they're referencing.
Oh,
Braymore Road. They're mentioning
Yeah, they were talking
Braymore.
about Braymore. It was just a comment on Braymore if they had been notified yet.
All right,
But because it was a preliminary, they had.
okay.
They don't have. Okay, thank you.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.